Okay, hi again. Now we will talk about the MeshOps export as FBX sequence. So I've added some files. So you got sample scene now. So I will go to the system and open the user folder. In the user folder, in the kits, you will got the or in the content folder, you will got the kits folder and your SMO game content folder for the kit. So here you will get into the under the scene folder, you will get some new sample scene. Okay, so those should not be changed, or it should be okay if you change them, but I will go to the sample scene, and we've seen the modeling booleans sample scene, and now I will open this one, export as FBX sequence metal beam. Okay, so I will open this one, focus on the object, and maybe change a bit the position of the of the light. Okay, so here we have a workflow, a specific workflow for working with MeshOpRig. So I will stitch this here on the side, maybe here. I will just close the, or remove the keyboard, we didn't need it, and I will show the time. So here we have one object that is animated along the animation. So at every frame you have different settings for the assembly. So this is one of the assembly that I've released in the MeshOp assembly aliases part 1 on Pixel Fondu. So you just have to open this assembly and you have different backdrops and links and everything connected, but we didn't care about this one. We will just take a look at the assembly itself, because the assembly have some parameters. Okay, and along the time I'm changing the number of tubes in between those two beams. Okay, I can animate everything, and this is what I created here. So if I open, for example, the graph editor and look at the different keyframe for this assembly, you see that everything is animated. Some of them are repeat along the way, some of them not, but it can work for about 60 frame. So I will go to 60 frame just to show you, and at about 360 frame it will probably loop again, so I will not get any more variation. So if I go there and play the animation, you see the beam is growing in size, in width, in length, and in number of tubes in between. So just for the purpose, I will limit my work to just 10 variation. So I will go from the frame 0 to the frame 9. Okay, so what you should do at first when you open your own scene, I should propose you to save it as a different folder. So normally what I do is exporting the LXO file to the temporary folder for the job, the different FBX file. So this way I can save it here and also make some change and maybe go back, and I will not break my whole my starting scene, I could say. So just for example, I will change the tube count to 1 here, maybe no, we will stay with 2. And as we have the scene here, we just have to open the MeshOp and Mesh Fusion menu. So I will just remove those because those menus are actions designed to be used under the schematic especially, and we will focus on this one. So export meshops to FBX sequence. So the first one can run on 12.0, okay, and up. You can launch it in 11 release of Modo, but you will get some pops up and warning and some errors. It can finish the work, but it can be difficult to use. So I prefer to say, yeah, on the 12 release and up, you can use it without any problems. So what you should have to do is not selecting the assembly itself, so I will just remove this, is selecting the target. The target is this mesh where I merged everything. I mean the assembly itself here as a full composite of every element. So I select this mesh here, and also I take a look at the UV map and select the UV map. I need to select the UV map because when I export it as an FBX, I also set the tangent vectors to make tangent basis export. So all the tangent basis normal, everything is compact and packed into the FBX with all the different settings. So it's okay, everything will be fine with this. All the settings are prepared. You can maybe not access to them. If I open my export FBX preset menu, there's one especially for the MeshOpRig that is without the triangle or just triangulated. So you have two also here and there. One is keeping the quads and n-gons, and one is exporting as an FBX with just triangle. It's up to you. You can choose whatever you want here. So I will do the job with this. So I selected this mesh, a MeshOpRig, I say, with the animation that is really visible here, and the UV map. So now I just click on export. If you didn't select any UV map, you will get a warning. Okay, so just to remind you, you will get some pops up if you didn't do things correctly. So I click on export MeshOpRig to sequence, to FBX sequence, and I will open my temporary folder and save this here. So I will name it as metal beam, like this. Okay, so I click enter, and the process will be running in the background. Okay, so it should be done. I think I will go to the event log. Okay, it's done. So in the event log, you see that the Py script is have been run. It do some different tests and in order to check if everything is okay. Then here you will see small export MeshOpRig to FBX sequence script, and it says, okay, make tangent by basis space, make tangent space map is created. Then the mesh is exported, mesh 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So of course the naming convention is following this. So if I open my folder, you see, and I'm not lying, it took about less than 1 minute to export all those different elements. And now if I turn maybe the preview of the FBX, window 10 should show me the detail. Okay, no, I didn't. So anyway, I exported all those FBX files with the UV and everything in it. And so now what I will do is close everything. and in this new scene I will load every FBX as an array. So you can click here on the last one into this section, load FBX sequence as array, and you click yes on suspend undo, because we didn't care about the undo here. We are starting from scratch from a new scene, and I will go to the temp folder, not this one with the export, and I will select all the different FBX. So you see that the name at the start is uppercase metal, uppercase beam for the name. So we should use this also later on. So I will just copy this as a text, and so I will open those 10 different elements. So it shows me a really long really long pop-up. I don't know why it is so long, but it's working anyway. So you need to enter the pattern name of your current reference target. So I will put the name of the file. Okay, I exported this as a metal beam point FBX with the numbers, of course. So I click OK. Okay, something is not working maybe on the reconnection with the assembly itself. So here you have under the groups you have a target FBX group that is empty. So as I'm using the replicator to load and create the array, I will select all the different meshes here that are reference to the different FBX. So normally it's automatized, but something is wrong here. I should check on further updates, and I will move this into the groups. So I will open the groups palette with Ctrl Alt and X, Ctrl Alt Shift X, and I have the groups here, and I will move those into this group. It's working. Okay, something is strange here. Normally the drag and drop should work, but yeah, what's wrong? Okay, no. So I will again, I will deselect this maybe. Should deselect any groups, or we can remove the section of the group. Deselect. Something I didn't like. Okay, so maybe select the schematic, select in the empty space of the schematic, remove the section of the group. You should remember this. Okay, so I will select again those different reference FBX data and move them here. So now if I just show the replicator with the IVP hide, now I have under my group, I can go to the properties, and you see we have all the different elements we've exported, loaded and spaced in an array. So here it's just in line, like I can go to 10. I can clump, of course, the numbers loaded. Okay, I can go to the mode 2D. So if that's in the 2D mode, it will try to show everything. So here we have about 3 by 3 array. And if I go to mode 3D, I will got an array of 2 by 2 by 2. Okay, so it's just 8 elements. So as it's just 8 elements, I should go further and go 3 multiplied by 3 by 3. Okay, so now I have all the different elements here visible. So I can of course remove some of them to clump, but the clumping is much more working on the line mode. and the 2D mode. Okay, so you see it's resizing relative to the numbers you are entering. So I will stay on the mode 3D, and here I can change the spacing between the different elements for the Y, the X, and the Z. And of course I can use the prototype transform. So if I want to have some animation, I can animate the reference themselves, and it will animate here. But it's interesting to get this to review all the different elements or create some assets, render of all the different assets that you've exported. So everything is included into the scene. So yeah, you could try it and tell me if you like this, those new things. I've corrected some bugs here and there, so it should be okay. But some of them need to be addressed, especially the one with the group creation here. I will do this into the script probably instead of relinking things into the assembly. Okay, so you have this, and you have the same process as this one, but for creating mesh presets. So if you want to get the or you work a lot with the preset browser, where is the preset browser? Presets. Okay, so in the preset browser you can get some meshes. If I go to meshes and go to electronic device, okay, so you can export your different elements like this into the preset browser or into LXL file, because as you can see it's an LXL file for those earphones, for example. So you can create your and build your own library of assets and kit bash elements. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.